Buenos dias, friends. I'm doing another video on Mexico as I'm sort of hiding out here during the pandemic. I'm in Mazatlán, Sinaloa with some friends of mine. I'm sure by now I've overstayed my welcome, but not sure there's any other place to go since home is Colorado and it's kind of a hot spot right now for the pandemic. There's not much changed here in Mexico since yesterday. It's currently April 3rd, about 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time here. We switch here in Mexico to daylight saving time on this coming Sunday morning, April 5th. So I don't have much news on. The town continues to close. Hotels are largely closed now. Restaurants, a lot of them have converted to delivery or takeaway only, but a lot have not too. And many restaurants here, as I'll get into later, will not close because of the way they're structured. The owners have to stay open if they themselves want to eat, and that's just the nature of the economy here. It's not about people prizing income over health, as some people have mentioned. So a few things have happened, and I have some notes here off to my left, your right, and I'm going to refer to them occasionally. The Mexican government recommends or indicates that as of the 1st of April, there are about 1,400 active cases of the virus here in Mexico. Other big news: China is said Chinese charity is said to have donated about 100,000 N95 masks and 50,000 test kits and several ventilators to Mexico. So, and using the reasoning that they're a very important trading partner for Mexico, and they want to help the Mexican people. I hope that's why. There's a little bit of mild pandemic buying, or panic buying, but not anything big. Store shelves are still pretty heavily stocked. We brought some bread last night, and it was no worries at all. The AMLO, the El Presidente, rejected a stimulus package. I don't know the details of the package, so I can't really say if I would agree with him on that or not, but because of his rejection, the peso took another hit and is closing in on 25 pesos to the dollar. So this relative weakness in the peso is a double-edged sword for Mexican people. Almost half of Mexican imports come from the United States, and a relative weak peso makes those imports expensive, very expensive. Compared to a month or so ago, those imports have now gone up in price by some 30%, maybe more. So anything that Mexico is acquiring that is dollar valued is brutally expensive. On the other hand, 77% of exports from Mexico go to the United States, and a relative weak peso is boomtown for exporters because they're getting a lot more pesos now for their things they're selling into companies which are dollar valued. So it is double-edged, but what Mexican people and the Mexican economy really needs is stability at a reasonable value of the peso. They really need stability, and that doesn't seem to be coming anytime in the future. And the last thing that North America needs is to push Mexico into default, such as happened in the 80s. What we really need to do, and we as North America, or even North America and South America need to do, is form the most powerful trading bloc on the planet, which would be the United States, start north, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. We could form an extremely powerful trading bloc by we could make virtually everything we need. And I'm not saying, abandon China as manufacturing. I'm saying that move some stuff back here to manufacture, especially things that are mission critical to have, such as medical supplies. Canada, the U.S., Mexico all have massive idle manufacturing capacity and talent pools. So let's do that and not bicker about who's better than who and what trade policy should be. Let's just form a strong trading bloc and really show the world what can be done with cooperation. Now, I don't think that'll be done because Canada has a leader who's too afraid to act because he might offend somebody. The U.S. has a leader which, in my opinion, just doesn't have the capacity to understand the difficulty of this problem and isn't interested. Mexico has a leader who is a populist phenomenon, but I just don't think has the skills to understand the problem he's up against. He just wants everybody to be happy, which we all do. But he just doesn't have the skills. He's a lot like Trump in some senses. So anyway, I'd be hopeful but not optimistic. Now, on to a more interesting topic, which is restaurants in Mexico. In Mexico here, we don't really have, in Mexico we have ordinary, dine-in service restaurants that, go from fast food to casual dining to really nice, places with expensive wine and cloth napkins and waiters that are, lording over you. And that's all, that, especially here in a big city and especially in a city with a lot of tourists, there's plenty of that. And that's really not all that very interesting. You can find information about those on any review site. The real phenomenon to experience in Mexico, or at least in Mazatlán, and other Mexican cities I've been to, such as Hermosillo, Soynoita, both of those are in Sonora, is what we would sort of think of as a pop-up in the United States, but it's sort of not a pop-up either because it always pops up in the same place, but almost everything that's needed for the restaurant is brought to it in the morning when they open or in the afternoon when they open, and it's all taken home or taken somewhere at night. For example, down the street there's a car wash that by day this place is a car wash. By night, it's a taco place. So they come in after the car wash closes, set up the grill and get the fire going and put in the tables and start selling tacos and a few other things. These make up some of the best places to eat in this town, and some of the best places, frankly, I have ever eaten. Many of these you will not find on traditional travel review sites, even though a lot of them have a lot of reviews. So I'm going to try to make a short list of them, certainly not exhaustive. I'm going to try to make a more exhaustive list in the future, but I'm going to make a list of the few standout places, and I'm sure I will forget one or two, and put it in the show notes. And I'm going to include as much location information as possible, specifically the GPS coordinates, because you can use those GPS coordinates to put in the Uber app, and Uber will take you, without knowing any Spanish, Uber will take you to that place. And I'm also going to include a little plug for a program I use called And Location. It's all one word in English, ANDLOC, that way, And Location, which will just tell you where you are GPS-wise within about 4 meters, and then you can share that with yourself through like Gmail or WhatsApp or however you want to share it. So you can, if you go to a place, you can mark it, remember it, and yeah. So, I've done a lot of that, and that's where my list came from. So I'm going to leave a list of these places, which tend to be very specialized. They only make a few different things. Sometimes the food is already made, and there's really no options. Sometimes it is made for you. But I am here to tell you that it is some of the best food I've ever eaten, and certainly just well worth your time. And also, of course, the prices are really good. Okay, so that's about all I have today. Stay well, everybody, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Ciao.